Hello and welcome to Just Sayin, opinionated, thought-provoking, and hopefully inspiring. A show wrapped around women's issues and Connecticut issues, family, work-life balance, healthy living, and so much more. I'm Lisa Lelis, one of your 6 co-hosts on the panel. As you get to know all of us, we hope to get to know you as well. So please visit us on Facebook, like our page, and visit our Just Sayin website. And just basically to keep in touch with us, and we'd love to hear from you and your comments. Cindy, why don't you tell us what is featured in our wine glass drink of the day?
So we try to always have a drink of the day, and today our summer mojito. So we have lime juice in here, vodka, so because you guys told me you weren't really rum fans, so we switched to vodka with a little club soda, and then fresh squeezed lime juice, I might add, but also mint from my garden. So I grow mint, among other things, and my father actually plants my whole garden every year. It's like an Italian thing. So anyway, so I have mint in the garden.
So summer cheers.
Right.
Cheers. Yeah.
Mojito season.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I have a garden growing. I have one of those tower gardens, and it's all grown just with water and nutrients in the water.
And there's no soil.
There's no soil at all. And
What?
the thing is,
Hydroponic.
the nutrients that are in the water, these things are exploding. They're growing so fast, and I have everything from herbs to tomatoes to cucumbers to you name it. It's all growing there, and it grows all year long with just lights on in
So
the house. So it's
inside.
nice.
We should have a
That's
cucumber
great.
Oh,
test
that's
to
cool.
see.
Can you post a picture of that on Facebook?
I
later?
will, yeah.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
It's actually part of the Juice Plus company, I believe, the Tower Gardens.
Yeah, and it's
beautiful.
wonderful,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
all
Great idea.
You know, I don't use any pesticides, nothing.
You don't have to worry about
That's
deer.
nice,
You don't need a
yeah.
backyard.
I go out with the bowl in the on the deck, and I just pick the lettuce off, and then that's my salad for the night.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. It's amazing. Can you bring it in the winter?
Yes, and they have lights that you put on it, and so you can grow 12 months a year.
That's
And
fantastic.
you can grow any vegetable or
Anything you want.
You just
Yeah.
keep adding water.
But there's
'cause I
no
seem
soil,
to
and there's like
forget
a
about
rock
adding
thing that
water.
you have to stick the plants in or the seeds, and then it just grows, and it's
So
phenomenal.
You can have lettuce here and zucchini here, all
Yes,
different.
Oh,
yes,
we're gonna have to check
and
this out.
and the
What's it
best
called?
part about it
Tower
is
Tower Garden.
it's on a timer, so you don't have to do anything. It goes on, the water goes on and off based on the timer. So
neat.
literally no work.
Okay.
I just make sure
So
there's
that's a
nutrients.
lazy garden.
I was just a real garden.
But I can do that.
I have a real garden too.
Black thumb.
a real garden. That doesn't count.
Who else has a garden?
I'm out there hoeing.
My garden is in the grocery store. It's much easier that way.
Containers?
Container.
We have a
Containers?
garden, but my husband takes care of it, and we're not getting as much of a yield as we did last year, so it's a
Yeah.
little disappointing.
I did CSA this year.
Yeah, I mean,
The crop, whatever CSA.
Thing
Yeah,
too.
I love it. can't wait.
I'm a slave to my flower garden because I love annuals because they give you the most colors, as opposed to
They do,
perennials.
yeah.
But you're a slave to them if you have to water them every single
Crop
day.
supported agriculture.
Well, I just
There you
went, I
go.
just went away for 10
Yeah,
days.
it's a
I had
co-op.
people
You get so
come
much a week
and
and you
water
don't get
all
to
of
do
Yeah,
my
because I have a
plants,
black
they would have
thumb.
died.
It's not going
That's
to work.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
no.
So, well, thank you again, Cindy, for supplying us with
It's
the
refreshing.
mojitos and your fresh,
Lovely.
fresh mint. And I'll tell you, ladies, it has been proving so far to be a very historic summer. Patty, how would you sum this up? You have a great way of summing up.
Oh, it's all about the flag. The Confederate flag comes down and the rainbow goes up.
Yes,
Isn't that
I
cool?
love it.
That is
I
so
love
cool.
it.
I love it. Stephanie, who is our expert in Southern culture.
Yeah, so being from Georgia, obviously the Confederate flag does have some tradition, and it's definitely there's a lot of controversy behind it. There is a lot of pride behind the Confederate flag. It was the flag that they used when the states seceded from the Union, and they carried it in the battlefield, and so there is a lot of heritage there. But as
Good
we
and
all
bad,
know,
though. I mean, there's
good and
bad
bad.
heritage.
That's the good heritage.
Right.
But as we all know, it has since become the symbol of hate and discrimination by the KKK and some of the other groups that are not necessarily so nice to people that are unlike them. So. Yeah, I mean it's you're very torn when you're in the southern states. There's a lot of people on one side that they feel very strongly about it, and there's other people that are on the opposing side that have just as strong views.
Yeah, and I think as New Englanders, we don't understand that
very hard to
culture of what the meaning that flag has to Southerners.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? Unfortunately, it was just brought into the limelight because of the shooting that occurred in Charleston at the
Right.
church. Yet the Confederate flag has been flying since the end of the Civil War, 1865, and then all of a sudden we have this one thing, and then everybody jumps on, and now the flag comes down. What happened in all these years? It was just this one incident that provoked the dropping of the flag. So that's pretty major. That flag's been around a really long time.
It makes for a very interesting conversation when I go home.
I bet it does.
I want to be there.
Because a lot of,
right?
a lot of people still, a lot of my friends and families still, hang that flag proudly today, and it's, and they're looking at it from the side of the heritage and representing the men that died in battle.
Right.
But
No,
unfortunately, that's not always the way.
It's interesting stuff. Having lived down the south and visited different states, I find in some cases people actually respect that flag more than the American flag, which is kind of sad.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
I
say
can see
that.
the
I
mutual,
would say
but
that,
sometimes
yeah.
they do. They have it
Yeah.
like more pride. You would say,
More
for
pride,
some
but then if
reason.
you think about the American flag becomes very divisive because
Yeah.
people look at it amongst party lines, right? So it's how you feel about the American flag is always dependent on which president is in the office and which party that represents is the way I see it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good
And,
yeah.
and speaking of flags, rainbow flags are
Yes.
popping up everywhere, all across America.
And
Same-sex
on
marriages are officially acknowledged in the states. Cindy, as our political advocate for Connecticut, our state actually is a little bit ahead of the curve.
We were actually the third state to adopt same-sex marriage, although California was the second, but then it got overturned, so we like to say we're the second. But we were right there ahead of the curve, sort of accepting that. And I think, a lot of you know that I have conservative views on a number of issues, but this is one of those, and I part company with some friends and family. But, having grown up and have a lot of friends and sort of being accepting of all cultures and choices, I could never understand people's, other than it being a religious space, but feeling that they couldn't accept that. My thing is whatever you do in your bedroom or your privacy of your own home is your business. Whomever you want to love and enjoy to spend your life with, that's what it's all about. It's really about love and
Right.
sharing and oftentimes I find people have opinions because they don't really know and they've never
Right.
spent time and understood, that sort of thing.
And you had mentioned, except maybe religion, but even with religion, I don't want to really go there,
Yeah.
but the Bible can be can be interpreted in so many different ways.
I think there's a great book, The Shack, and I don't know if any of you
Oh,
read it.
I love
The Shack, yeah.
But there was,
Great
how
book.
Jesus
Great
visits.
book.
if
That's a
you've ever read The
reread
Shack.
book.
Love
You
it.
got to reread
But
that
he
one.
visits the shack, and there was a question in the book, and I'll remember it forever. And the individual asking Jesus the question, where do you stand on politics and religion and that sort of thing? He says, I'm not involved in politics or religion. And just the way he said it hit me, and it's true because that's not what he was about.
Yeah.
But I can understand both sides, but I oftentimes find people on the negative side or the side not supportive of it have never really spent time with folks, homosexuals or lesbians. I hate to even classify it, just somebody who wants to love who they want to love.
Right.
The celebration of love that we've been seeing on
Right.
social media and
Right.
Facebook
Yeah.
in the past week with the rainbow over profiles is just so fantastic to watch this celebration.
Right.
People getting married and celebrating their love and their families. It's really
It's,
special.
it's really hard to go against the phrase that everyone's been shouting out, love
Love.
wins.
Yeah.
Love wins. How do you go against that?
Yeah. How do you not like that?
One of the things that I've seen as a fallout for this is business owners who have certain religious beliefs, like the bakery. There was a bakery in Pennsylvania, and they rejected the order from a lesbian couple about a wedding cake. And they believe it's because of their own religious beliefs, and they're saying, I don't believe in gay marriage. I'm going to do and that's a dilemma. I don't know the answer to the question here, okay? But it is something that an individual business
that's still
owner has
involved,
to deal with, okay? But then I'll flip the side over, okay? They were also pointing out in the article that they would be people would be very willing to support a woman who was divorced and remarrying. Now, divorce in the Christian faith is not approved of either.
Yeah.
But, and I'm Catholic, okay? But you can buy an annulment,
Right.
and that erases the divorce. That's
Buy.
okay.
Right.
true.
That's
She's right.
okay.
Buy
but the
annulment.
gay
Well, that's right.
marriage part
Really?
Yeah.
was an except. I don't get. I don't know
I
the
know.
answers to
I
all
That's
this.
Catholic, not Christian. Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
very interesting that this is bringing up so many of those
Just
sorts
respect
of.
and
I
love
see
for
it as
each
the
other.
bigger
Really.
picture is the whole, what it speaks to is it's about acceptance. Acceptance of each other and someone else's beliefs. It's
Yeah.
not even about tolerance, 'cause personally I don't want people to tolerate me, I want people to accept me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You're
so
right.
it's about acceptance, it's the bigger picture.
And we got so many bigger problems, like how to put food on the table, how to get our economy going. Really, I mean, if people are happy and they love each other and they're supportive, really, no one's asking you to do X, Y, and Z, so let people sort of live how they want to live.
But the more important thing is that you have all these families out there with same-sex couples that were not legitimized.
Right.
And you have children involved, and you have all of this other stuff. You have medical benefits and all of this.
Right.
It should not have had to come to the Supreme Court. This is regulating people's personal lives. It's unfortunate that it had to come that far, but thankfully they saw through it.
And back to your point, Cindy, about there's so many bigger things. On the news this morning, they were talking about the wildfires in Washington State. Dozens of homes gone, just completely destroyed. And they were interviewing a couple of people, and the woman said, all my things are gone, but life is still here.
Yeah.
And you take this and you put it in perspective.
Right.
With that, no lives are lost here.
Right.
It's all good. Let's just work it out.
Celebrate the good.
Yeah, celebrate the good.
Celebration.
We celebrate a lot in Connecticut, don't we?
Yes, and speaking of positive things, right here in Connecticut, our guest today is Ann Nyberg from News Channel 8. We'll be back in a moment. Speaking of anyone that's more positive, I don't know about this state,
Absolutely.
but don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're on our first Just Saying show with a guest. We're honored to have Ann Nyberg here today.
So I'm the first one?
You're the very first one.
You're trusting me with this?
Yeah.
Well, okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
So,
and you know what? I just want to applaud what you guys are doing because I think it's good for this state. It's about small business. It's about working women. It's a multi-platform situation that you're doing, so you guys go. I think it's awesome.
oh, thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
And how awesome is Ann? Who doesn't know Ann Nyberg if you live in the state of Connecticut?
I'm so old.
No. It's not that you're old. You're everywhere. I mean, people say and criticize me and say, Erica, how do you do all that? You're everywhere. But I mean, between writing a book, the toy closet at Yale, I mean, that's huge. And how awesome is that? Your Nyberg show, which Carol this morning said, make sure you tell Ann, I love Nyberg. I'm like, I will. Make sure I tell her. You support the Katharine Hepburn
Cultural
Arts
Center.
Center. Yep. Did you forget about that one too? And Walter Camp Football Foundation. You've also got Network Connecticut. You own a boutique. You run Annie Mame. And you're featured in things like Coastal Connecticut, Coastal Magazine.
Yeah, I'm writing a column.
And she's an anchor reporter.
And you're on
That's
TV.
your
So yes, I'm type A, and yes, I'm crazy. But here's the deal. I live my life with urgency because I don't like nonsense. I don't like to waste time. I want to see things happen for the state of Connecticut. I want to see great things happen as people network and connect, and these entrepreneurs and innovators and small business folks. That's my sweet spot, because if we don't help all these folks, and you're doing that yourselves, we don't have a state that can make it.
No.
So it's grassroots level, it's all of us working together, and I love the written word. So I'm a crazy person. I never met a brochure I didn't love. From the time I was a kid, now it's not print anymore, but it still is, and that's why I believe in Coastal Connecticut magazine, because they're trying to do some cool things about businesses and storytelling, and it's all about storytelling.
Ann, I love that point because it makes me think, being involved in local politics and such, people oftentimes want to blame the state or the government for why things don't go well. But my philosophy is, if I'm true to my conservative roots, I'm in charge of what happens, and I'm responsible. And regardless of what the state's doing, I'm going to survive and make it happen. And I like that. What I learned about your Network Connecticut, I love the fact that you're saying to people, listen, we're not going to wait for government to do it. We're not going to wait. Right. We're going to do it. And if we believe that, right?
I think you always have to take these at grassroots levels. You can't take national government, state government. It's not nimble. It doesn't move fast. And I think we all need to help make things happen. After World War II, that was the roll up your sleeves generation, hard work. We are back there, boys and girls. We're 200 million in the red, and look what's going on around us in the world.
Greece.
So take care of your backyard. Get your friends. Get moving, and don't sit around and this negative stuff drives me crazy. Just start doing stuff. And if we all hooked together in this state of arguably about 3 million people, think of the things we can make happen.
Well, look at what you use for social media. I'm addicted to social media. You're on social media a lot. You know,
the queen.
they don't even say that we're the queens
You're
of
the
social media.
princess.
I'm the princess. She's the queen. Okay, I'm good with
But
that.
it's not about me.
No, it's not.
about
And I love that
us.
about you. And
It's
I
about
love
us.
promoting other people's businesses and sharing and tagging, and it becomes viral. And I'm so proud of those vendors, and they're local, they're in the state. I mean, you do the same thing. You know, someone's created something out of nothing, you know, from their heart, out of
Absolutely.
a hardship. And it's so admirable. I really appreciate how you support others' businesses. And I learn from you with what you're doing. And I go, if Anne's doing it, I'm doing it too.
Yeah, we've all picked up a little something just from watching Anne on social media.
Isn't it about, though, getting under the hood of why did you set up this business? You know, why did you start the florist business? Because it starts with a passion, but you need other folks to help you move forward. You can't do it in this vacuum. And I think a lot of folks, they don't want to share other people's things because we live socially now because they're jealous, or, oh, she might get something. Hey, listen, if we're all helping each other, you can't do all the weddings, so another florist will pick up some weddings that you can't do. And it's learning what we all learned in kindergarten, right? I mean, just be kind to each other and share
Lift
and
each other up.
Right.
Because we'll create a stronger state, we'll create a stronger community
Exactly.
if we do that, you know?
But I do think there is oversharing sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to know really personal things. And I think, where's the filter? Where's the filter? Come on. And we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
You know, I just got
yes, you
divorced
do.
yesterday. Okay, well.
So sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
I do
don't
family
know.
law.
Okay, so see, so maybe
sharing all the time.
so maybe that sharing is a good idea because you're going to help her.
Private message that.
Right,
Yeah,
private
we
message.
private message that on
Yes.
Facebook and
Correct.
You know, the behind the scenes. But there is a lot about slices of life. Talk to us about this book. How did you add this to your plate? Because I always love adding to my plate.
Well, I want to give Homebound Publications a plug. They're
Okay.
in Stonington. Is being published by a Connecticut firm, and I love them. Met her on a talk show on Nyberg, and she at some point said, well, if you ever write something, I'll publish it.
Yeah.
If someone says they're going to publish something,
Yeah.
just do it. I had no idea how to write a book. I've written news copy for 40 years, staccato, ... You know, I haven't written any of me. That is the hardest thing you'll ever do. To confine
how hard
yourself.
was that?
Well, to confine yourself in a space, and then just start writing. And my message when I go on this book tour with this is, just start. Don't let history go away. It's a little bit about me, a little bit about my family, things I love.
Didn't you just say about sharing? Yeah. How much did you share?
You know what? I didn't share. I tried to write a book that would be for the masses. Old-fashioned ideals, things that I think we've gotten too far away from. Be kind. I have quotes at the end. I have pictures of my folks
do
in
love
there.
that.
I'm trying to just remind ourselves about it's just old-fashioned values and where are they? Because I don't see a ton of integrity these days. You know, my word is my bond. How many times have people said to you, I'll be there at 5, they never show, or they get another offer? I mean, what are we doing? This is crazy. So when I go out, I'm going to collect email addresses because I'll have some blasts about stuff, but I'm going to give one person a diary. My book started with a diary that my mother gave me when I was 8 years old, and I started writing. So do the math, I'm 58, okay? So the diary's 50 years old. It's all about writing, and it had a lock on it, not like this, but similar. So someone's going to get this little diary to start writing their own lives, and to talk to your elders and find out about them. We're so busy, you know, posting about ourselves and this and that. What do you know about your family? It's important to preserve.
You know,
that.
it's interesting because I have I told you 12-year-old, 3 and 1 or something like that. These kids I have, but anyway, I so I can't believe it. But so I think about the me generation that's coming up and working with in my practice clients that range from 20 all the way up to 80, but there is a very me-centric focus, and I want my kids to be proud of what they are and what they're doing, and you know, when they're young, the world does center around you a little bit, but to expand that and recognize that it's not all about you all the time. And
Well,
And one of the beautiful, not to
No,
interrupt, one of the
please.
beautiful things we do at Orchard House is that we have a lot of seniors that do reminiscence.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of younger kids that come in and they will spend time from the high school, from the local elementary schools, and they will sit down, they will talk to the
Share the
members there.
stories.
And they will share the stories and the looks
that's
in
fabulous.
their faces. It's something that even teenagers can't comprehend when they talk about World War I or World War II, where they're just,
Well, you just hit on something because seniors know things. And I think in this society, many times we ignore them because they're not 18 to 49 demographics.
Right.
What a senior knows, they've seen incredible things in their lives. And we need to tap into that because you need to know the past to go forward in the future.
Right.
Otherwise, we keep making the same mistakes. So you were talking about seniors. Don't they love sharing that?
they love sharing it. And honestly, we can't do enough oral histories within our center. I mean, there's just, everyone has such a remarkable story. When you've got 80 people in a program, imagine all that history. I mean, our oldest client's 102 years old.
I love this.
She has
Now,
seen
see, as a
things.
storyteller, I'm going, I
Yes.
need to get there and talk to this
She's
person.
heard things that you just couldn't imagine.
The things you
it's
can learn,
wonderful.
the life
Absolutely.
experience, the
Yeah.
family, the
Keep-
love.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
terrific.
well, we could talk all day, ladies.
We could.
Well, see, that's my problem.
We could.
But we will be right back, and thank you again for visiting
Thanks
with
for
us.
And our
having me.
first
Your
guest.
And good luck to you guys. This is
Thank you. We're having so much fun.
Thank you.
It's a
And
blast.
we're going to do a wrap up when we get back and do a viewer mailbag. So we're getting a lot of mail from viewers. So please don't go away.
Hey, welcome back. Patty, what's in today's mailbox?
Oh, you know what's so exciting? That we have stuff in our mailbox. So the first question comes from Donna. Actually, she's got two questions. She goes, what's your favorite comfort food or junk food? And then she writes, this quinoa and kale thing is driving me crazy, which I don't like either one. You know, so the quinoa and the kale.
What's
What's wrong with quinoa? It's like,
and
it's
what's
like a
wrong with kale?
couscous.
But it is the new.
And that's Donna D.
A kale I love if you make kale chips out of it.
I know.
I love those kale
You
chips.
could throw
My kids
frozen
love
kale
those.
in a smoothie. That's how I sneak it into my 2-year-old.
Yeah, I do the same
Yeah.
thing. I put all that stuff into the smoothies. Well, we have an interesting question from Mary Ellen. She goes, Donald Trump for president.
Only if he fixes his hair.
That's another show.
Yeah, we have, let's see, what do we have here that looks good? Oh, Cheryl says, how are we making ends meet in the state? Who is doing what for extra money? That's an interesting topic someday.
That is
Do we have to have
interesting.
second jobs?
We're
or
going to
what?
have to talk about that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
that's a
here
good
has one
one.
job?
Nobody.
One
No.
of us out of 6.
One paying
Diverse
job.
income.
She also writes, where are people vacationing this summer on a budget?
Staycation.
Staycation is where to
Staycations.
go.
Well,
Yep.
I'm going to Europe, but staying at relatives' homes. That's a cheap way to do it.
That is actually a great way of doing it.
Guilford
Yeah.
Beach. Yeah.
Beach, I love it.
And
I'll
then-
see you at Jacobs.
And then Diane, of course, writes, how about the Supreme Court ruling on same-sex marriage?
Yeah, we talked about
we talked about that.
We
yeah,
did.
So that's an
Yep,
excellent
we did that.
thing.
Good.
Are you going to pass that down, Cindy, or are you going to hog it all? What's going on?
What's going on, Tanya?
Who doesn't like ice cream?
We're
Well,
dripping.
We're coming to July, although this will not necessarily be aired
it's
in
the
July,
summer,
but
it's
it's the
during the
summer
summer.
ice cream. So we've got
Ice cream,
Ben
you
and
scream.
Jerry's in Branford.
And actually, even in the
Connecticut.
fall and winter, ice cream's good all
All right.
the
Yeah.
So New York Super Fudge Chunk, which is their premier flavor. All right, who wants the chocolate one?
Take
Yeah.
one, hand it down.
And then we have everything but the, you know what, kitchen sink.
Oh, I didn't know they did
Want
Greek
chocolate or
frozen
strawberry
yogurt.
This is
And
cake
cake
batter.
This almost sounds healthy.
Ooh, I'm
And
going to
this
try
one I
this.
want, the Greek
Do you want
frozen
strawberry cheesecake? You
yogurt.
take
The
it.
blueberry
Well,
vanilla
we're going to
graham
share this
Greek.
one. Everything but the...
Hey,
this one?
didn't they do a I do rainbow yogurt or rainbow ice cream for same-sex marriages? Yeah, they did. Ben and Jerry did. They're all on board.
Okay. Oh
I
my
love
goodness,
it.
Look at these chunks.
You know, what's funny is I have a background in
strawberry
ice
cheesecake.
cream. I spent 10 years working
Sorry,
for
we're making you jealous.
another company.
Okay, my
God.
first job, Friendly's Ice Cream in Massachusetts.
My first job was Baskin Robbins.
Really?
It was. I was 15 years old.
I was 10 years at Haagen-Dazs, 10 years in their corporate office.
But we
the
have
ice
to
cream
thank
thing.
Ben and Jerry's at Branford.
Yes.
because
Yes.
They did donations today.
Thank
but,
you so
Thank
much.
you muches.
So I'll tell you, how about Ann Nyberg? Is she a ray of
Amazing.
sunshine or what?
She's amazing.
What do you like best about Connecticut, since we really were focusing on that a little bit?
Shoreline.
I
I
love the
feel
shoreline.
like I'm on vacation here. I because of a divorce, I ended up moving. I landed in Guilford. It was such a great place to land. Oh my
We're
goodness.
so glad you landed here.
Yeah, me too.
But how great is the awareness of support of other businesses, people supporting, Stephanie, you touched on it today, that, supporting nonprofits, supporting each other's fundraisers. Connecticut is really mindful of that.
How about having all 4 seasons? We don't get that down south.
Yeehaw.
All 4
Four
seasons.
seasons, girl.
Winters are brutal. I'm still adjusting, but I have to say, spring and fall make up for it. It's gorgeous, and the
And of course,
proximity.
summertime,
Summertime.
out on kayaks, boats,
Yeah.
you name it.
I'm a
It's
snow angel
fabulous.
girl.
Pretty much where
Bring
we
on
are.
the snow.
Yeah, you can be anywhere. You can be the city. You can be in
Right.
Boston. You can be in the
can be
hills
on
of
a
Litchfield
boat and then
County or in the
go-
water.
That's why
within minutes.
That's why a lot of productions come out here.
Yeah.
I'm just an advocate of that because you can make it into Boston or down south.
Now
Yeah.
I'm originally from New York, and so I have family in Massachusetts. Connecticut to me was I-95 going from New York to Massachusetts. I never knew what was in between here. It is so impressive.
We
I
have a lot
love
of
it here.
people that stop. This is the meeting ground for a lot of people coming from Manhattan and Boston. Stop for a rest area, stop for lunch. All the fabulous places that are in Branford and Guilford and Madison, small businesses, restaurants. It is a meeting stop.
And it's interesting, wherever I travel anywhere else, living other places, people be like, Connecticut's so beautiful. And it is, and you're right, to me, the location. But also, for those of us that have kids, the school system's here.
Oh.
The educational system is great. Whatever community you're in, obviously, they vary a little bit, but tremendous education here.
And the other thing, not to interrupt you, Lisa, is the people.
Yeah.
People talk about Southern hospitality. I have to tell you, coming from the South, I was welcomed with open arms in Connecticut. The people here are so nice. I know. Is she for that or no? But it's
We have good ice
the
cream.
people are really nice.
Bad rap, I
Well,
think.
you know what? When I first got here, when my neighbors found out I was from New York, you know what their first question to me was, right? Yankee or Red Sox fan?
Oh, that's another thing. We're divided.
Yankee?
Well, originally when I got on the block, I did say Mets because I just didn't want the controversy. But yes, I am a Yankee fan.
Yankee, what are you?
Well, the Mets are winning now.
All right, so what are you?
Yeah, the Mets are doing really well.
You guys are all Red Sox?
I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, but my husband's a Mets fan, so I
right.
have
right,
to
so
be Mets.
You're neutral.
Red Sox?
You knew that.
Well, I'm going to Fenway Park for the Yankee Red Sox game.
Yeah, why not?
I got my
Let's play ball.
husband tickets to see
Hey,
the
let's get
Yankees.
Jeter to
Yeah, I
be on the
love
show.
I miss Jeter. I miss Jeter. He was my hero.
Let me work on that. I'm working on
Yeah.
some really heavy hitters.
Let's play ball.
And as we wrap up, today was really a fun show.
It was
It
so
was a treat to
fun.
have
it was a lot of
Ann
fun.
here.
Yeah.
Today's takeaway tips, because we like to leave you with something, is really, I think, what I got out of this was stop griping about our state
Yep.
and be part of the evolving change for the better.
Yep.
Start talking positively about where you live, no matter where it is. Because I know this is running in a lot of different towns and households and via the internet, so you could be in different parts of the country. But be the voice of change. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Celebrate the love.
Yes.
Yes.
Special thanks to our guest, Ann Nyberg, today, Stephen and Leanne from Bird's Nest Salon in Guilford, and of course, Ben and Jerry's of Branford. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Just saying.